What is the best hidden potential build for Super Baby 2? How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We are back for another Dokkan Battle video. In today's video, we are breaking down the brand new STR Super Baby 2 and figuring out what might be his best hidden potential. So let's go ahead, let's hop on in, and let's take a look at what he's doing. So he leads Corroded Body and Mind and Battle of Fate for Key 3, HP 200% and Attack Defense 170% with an additional HP Attack Defense 50% for Terrifying Conquerors, Final Trump card, or GT bosses. On his super attack effect in the Super Baby 1, he is raising attack defense for the turn, causing immense damage to the enemy. Now, his passive gives him Key 2, Attack Defense 250%, and a great chance of evading enemies' attack, along with a guard and a 50% support passive for Corroded Body and Mind allies. He also gets a 250% attack defense with 12 or more key and an additional 10% chance of evading enemy's attack once only, and he can transform into Super Baby 2 starting from the 5th turn or on the 3rd turn with 3 or more Corroded Body and Mind or GT bosses allies on the team. Now, we're not too concerned of his status while in Super Baby 1 because you're only in this for 1 turn, and he essentially has 80% dodge and guard, which, I mean, with his stats isn't the greatest, but it's enough to get you by for 1 turn. Once he transforms into Super Baby 2, he is now infinitely stacking attack and defense. It is only a 20% stack, so it is kind of slow. And he has Key 3, Attack Defense 250%, with a great chance of evading his attack. He guards all attacks and gives Corroded Body and Mind allies 60% attack. He randomly changes key series of a certain type to STR, and gets an additional 250% attack with 12 or more key, and once only has a additional 20% chance to evade. So for his very first attack, he has a 90% chance to evade. When all allies attacked in the same turn are extreme class characters, he has a scouter and launches an additional super attack. When all allies attacking in the same turn are Corroded Body and Mind, he has 30% damage reduction and an additional 30% crit. With 3 or more key spheres obtained or superclass enemy, you get 120% attack and an additional 30% crit. With 5 or more key spheres obtained, or when there's an Earthbred Fighter's enemy, or when the character obtains a key sphere, he gets an additional 120% attack and chance to perform a critical hit 30%. And with that, on his next attack turn, he will be able to activate Giant Form. And I mean, there's nothing we're too concerned with the hidden potential in terms of the Giant Form. Giant Form is going to do what Giant Form is going to do, right? Regardless of what your hidden potential is. Now, so that begs the question, with all of that he's doing, how do you build his hidden potential? Well, as an STR type, we can see that he will naturally lean into critical hit. If we were to fully invest his critical hit, he would end up with a 40% chance, a 60% chance if you went full crit, right? With 30 nodes. However, I do not actually recommend that you go full crit with him, even though he is an STR type. In fact, my recommended hidden potential build for Baby is to utilize the utilize what you already have with him, which is the additionals, right? The additionals are what is really going to come through for him because of that slow 20% stack. It's not a 30% like it is in other characters, it's the 20%. So you kind of want the additionals, right? He has a guaranteed additional if you have a full extreme rotation. So you definitely want some hidden potential to get that extra proc. So as an STR type, the best he's going to get is actually 15 with additional nodes giving you up to 25, which means a 50% chance to launch an additional super attack, and that's kind of what you want. So my recommended build is 21 to 25. If you have him fully decked out, all dupe paths open, you can get him with his gold equip orbs which means that you can utilize his specialty orbs that he gets for completing the missions. Now, if you utilize those, it's only going to give you about 21, but if you have your own level 5s, then you can get him up to 25. Now, for his sub potential, this is where things get a little tricky because it's really dependent on, and this is why EX skill orbs are going to be the best utilized for him, because you'll have to switch them based on how you use them. When you're facing super class enemies, you can probably have his potential more towards dodge, right? If you're utilizing him in super class fights, because he won't need the critical hit. He'll be getting enough critical hit through the second portion of his passive here. So you can focus here on the dodge, and you won't have to worry. So you would give your sub to the dodge, and then let his passive and the skill orbs do the rest. However, right, things like special battle, right, where the boss, or the Pure Saiyan's Red Zone, where the bosses are mostly extreme class, he's going to run into some issues, right? Well, while he is changing key spheres, it's not always guaranteed that he's going to change the ones you need, and you may have trouble getting that 5 or more, or may have trouble getting that 3 or more. And if you run into that situation, his offense is going to be really, really low, and of course he won't be critting, which means he won't be dealing damage. So to mitigate that, if you know you're going to be using him more towards extreme class, you can swap the dodge and swap the crit, right, leaning more towards crit for him, giving him a, right, if you go with the sub crit on him, he's actually going to only have about, 15 crit, or yeah, 11 crit. So I mean, it's not ideal, right? With it's a 22% extra chance, but it's still a better chance than the 10% that the 5 is giving him. So it's up to you, but I do think dodge overall as his sub is probably the better choice. For his hidden potential skill orbs, I do again recommend utilizing his guaranteed equips that he gets for the missions, giving him the bronze. I actually recommend giving him the bronze attack, because even though he stacks kind of slow with the guard and the dodge, it's honestly, he's got enough defense that you're gonna want that offense on him. So I do recommend going with his level 8 bronze attack. And then for his gold and silver, give him the additional equips. They're both level 2s, and then giving him the defense for his silver, right? So the additional, and the defense just for that extra boost of defense. If you want, you can give him the additional dodge. It's up to you, but personally I would think as a stacker you want the additional defense. And then for his gold, I would go with the type defense support, and the additional for his gold that's going to benefit him the most, or type attack support, I'm sorry, that's going to benefit him the most out of all of these. So again, recommend going full additionals with sub dodge or sub crit depending on your utilization, and then for now utilize his special equips. If you have the level 5 additional equips, use those, but if not, his special equips will get the job done. So guys, that is it for the video. If you liked the video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and in the comments down below let us know, how would you build your STR Baby's hidden potential? Again, full additionals is my recommendation, but I'm curious to see what you guys come up with in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and aloha.